So, all right, Joseph Malone here again for day 20 of the Speak Right Now challenge. It's crazy to me. It's 20 days. I'm 2/3 of the way through. And, you may notice somebody over on my left. I believe it in the video. It looks left to me. It may be right up for you. But anyways, this is my good friend, Jeff Eikenberry. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
So for those of you that don't know Jeff, Jeff's been a good friend of mine for many years. A couple days ago, Sunday it was, I shared, a failure of mine. And, Jeff was there with me during that failure. So, I'm just so thankful Jeff, was there, helped me. While I talked about a failure, I want to ask Jeff a couple of questions about the greatest success he's ever had. So, Jeff's just a great guy. He's, helped me get my job. And, I just love Jeff to death. So this is going to be a great chat. It's going to be quick, but it's going to be good. So, hey, welcome to the chat, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I appreciate it and your kind words. I value your friendship. Like you said, we've been friends for probably 20 years. Anyway, so yeah, it's great to finally be on the show. Thanks for inviting me.
No, it's great to have you. So, today's little chat's going to be about your greatest success. We talked about this a little bit earlier today. Can you share what you believe is your greatest success?
Yeah, sure, Joe. I'm going to kind of turn the question on its ear just a little bit because I started thinking about it, and I've had a lot more failures than successes. A lot of small ones and a number of big ones. I'll just be transparent about that. And honestly, as the more I thought about it, I think my biggest success is learning how to deal with my failures. Honestly, Joe, because I've had some major failures in my life, and it's been hard to get past some of those. And so it wasn't something where I could just kick the dust off my boots and get back up right away a lot of the time. And so really had to develop a plan of how to deal with failures and move forward to what's next. So probably that's my biggest success, is just going through the process of learning how to deal with failure.
That's an interesting take on it, because so many times we're so afraid of failure or the repeat of a failure that we don't continue going. Yet you've continued to persevere through your failures.
Yeah. And it's not something I didn't just come out of the gate doing that. Again, it was a process. It's still a process. I think every time we fail, hopefully those of us that are working on leadership and self-improvement, we're able to kind of assess our failures each time, and we have some takeaways. So yeah, I kind of developed a little bit of a strategy. I can share it with you if you'd like. I'll try to be brief.
Yeah, go ahead. I was actually going to ask you, how did you learn to overcome these failures and consider it a success?
Sure. So I just have a few. I always come up with these little phrases. I'm a big Evernote user. And so when I kind of think things through sometimes, and I'll put it in Evernote, and then I'll go back maybe once a year or so and just kind of look at my own notes and sort of take some of my own advice, if you will. So I kind of developed a strategy when I've gone through failures. The first thing is I call it DDSS, and what it stands for is don't do something stupid. That's the big thing. So oftentimes I think sometimes we fail in one area, and then we'll just throw our hands up, and if we're not careful, we'll find ourselves doing something stupid and maybe failing in another area. So probably a big and over obvious example of that would be, like, I've talked to a lot of people that have substance abuse issues, and a lot of that started when there was a major failure in their life, and they sort of got depressed about it, or they started to look down on themselves, and so they turned to sort of self-medicate, and that was a result of them kind of, I would say, just doing something stupid or making bad decisions shortly after failure. So don't do something stupid. That's the first thing. The second thing is an obvious one, and I'm sure you've talked about it before. In fact, I know you have, and that's learn from the lessons. So step back and say, okay, where did I mess up? What were the core reasons that I failed, and try to make a mental note and learn from those lessons. Right behind that, the next thing I have is don't live in lament, or don't live in looping lament. So you want to have the takeaway of those lessons, right? But without just being in this constant cycle of lamenting about the failure. So you take away the lessons, and then you move forward. And then the last thing that I would say is package it up and put it away. So you take the lessons, that's the package. You decide, how am I going to move forward? What are my next steps? And maybe the next step, Joe, is to do nothing. Maybe you just say, hey, I gave this a try. You and I talked about that a little bit. I gave this a try. It didn't work. And a very good and viable option is to do nothing. And so that's part of that, package it up. And then the last part, put it away. Don't look at it. Don't think about it. Take the lessons and just look forward.
I really like that whole packaged idea, with this whole motorcycle failure. I've been recycling it over and over in my mind, and it just makes me feel like more of a failure. Whereas I can see if you package it up and put it away, you can kind of go, well, I learned from that lesson. Now what can I do to move on, and kind of even consider that failure a success.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that in order, I say package it up and put it away. And in order to really put it away, Joe, I think we have to package it up. And that's sort of like bring a resolution. When I say package it up, the packaging I'm talking about think of wrapping a present, right, or wrapping a package. You're wrapping that up in a solution, and that solution could be, like your case with that you talked about with the class. That it could be I'm going to take the class again, or it could be I'm going to study and then I'm going to take the class a year from now, or I'm not going to take the class. It was just a great experience, and I'm okay with where I ended up. But that's the sort of packaging, and if you do that packaging part right, when you put it away, then you're not tempted to look back and get into that looping lament thing. Again, those are lessons I've learned the hard way.
All right. Now, that's just great, Jeff. I think that's a good place to end this chat today. So thanks for being here and chatting with us about your greatest success, through your failures.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.